what? We got another guest coming on, man. This is my sister. Like, listen, we all know about the back in the days, like Alpo. You talk about Rich Porter and all of those gangsters from Harlem and stuff like that. You got Demisio, from Brooklyn and all that stuff. You got Fat Cat and all that stuff. Like a lot of people read these stories. We look at Paid in Full and all these other gangster stories, the black gangster stories that we watch. But this person actually was around with those people. She's seen them move. She's seen the Nickies and all of those kind of cats move around and stuff like that. So this is my girl, Miss T. She wrote a book. She's got a big following on YouTube. With all the stories and stuff like that. So without further ado, Sam, can you bring in Miss T, please?
Hey, Miss T.
Hey. Yo,
how y'all doing?
Good seeing you. This is my sister right here, man.
Yeah.
Got a Harlem Heroin book out and everything. Like, they got the book so people can see. Make sure we know. So, all right, we're gonna promote that book some more and stuff like that tonight too. So we're gonna make sure we're gonna put it at the end. Forgot. Got two books in the streets. Got 2 books. And listen, that last title, we might have to talk about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, my man Rob loved this kind. This is his lane. So
yeah, this is my stuff right here.
This is his lane right here, Miss T. So okay. Can you give people a little background of like who you are and stuff like that, and that, and then we're gonna jump into it after that.
I'm just a female from Harlem who grew up in the 90s and 80s. I've seen a lot. I've been through a lot. So, it came a time where, I was dealt with some influential people that was in the game, and it came a time where something tragic happened, and I had to write about it. I had to put my life in a book, in book form. And I only did that not to glorify anything, because when this tragic thing happened to me, the game wasn't fun anymore to me. And I felt like, what? People need to understand that it was more than what they saw. It was so much more going on behind the scenes, and it wasn't what it was cracked up to be.
Yep. And speaking of crack.
Okay, segue. Hey.
Good segue.
You came up in an era when crack was starting to get real popular. Like some of the people, like we like who you mess with and stuff like that. How did you get in the game in like 1989?
Who dropped you your first package?
No,
and it wasn't me.
Come on, you ain't gonna go with it. It was a long time ago. You ain't gonna
long time ago. I know that a long time ago.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So go ahead. Without saying my name.
No, what I actually got in, it had to be like around 86, 85, when I asked my uncle. I always loved money. I love to dress, but the thing is, I didn't need it, but I wanted more. So being greedy and just wanting to be a part of something, I had asked my uncle to give me some dust to go sell. And I had started with dust in Harlem on a very popular block, 123rd and 7th, where, I say in my doc, or, even where I think street legends were made, so that's where I started at with dust. And then moved up.
We are talking about angel dust, right?
Yes, angel dust, PCP, yeah.
We got some younger viewers on it. They don't know what dust.
They don't know what dust is.
Yeah.
So I was 18, I think, at the time, maybe 17, because that was like about 85, 86. So I was actually, I was a little younger than that. Yeah, but that's when it started. And once you get a taste of that money coming in, and back then it was just enough money for everybody. It's amazing. It was enough money for everybody. And when you're young and you get that, either me selling it or being in a relationship or dealing with people who is selling it, and I was still able to benefit, it's kind of like a rush. Yeah.
So you think like a lot of people addicted to the hustle, and that's why they get in the game.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. The hustle is an addiction.
Yes.
Yeah.
The fast money, the fancy cars, the
Yeah,
nice clothes, going out, all
yeah,
that. But Miss T, I want to ask you a question. You dated a lot of well-known drug dealers, correct?
yeah,
You did.
yeah.
Anybody that were really big names?
I mean, I didn't date him, but well, okay. I dated Lou Sims. He and I had a
Okay,
relationship. He's more known for being one of the most dangerous men in Harlem.
correct.
I
He
would
was an
say that's what
enforcer,
he's known
correct?
for.
He was an enforcer, correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. So him, Ace, my daughter's father, he was known in Harlem because he was the partner of Fritz, who was called the Consignment King.
Yes.
If anybody know who Fritz is the one who he was the plug.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah.
Let
He
me
made
ask
it.
you.
Hmm.
You used the word consignment, right?
Hmm.
Looking back now, do you think those consignment deals were like they were good or were they bad? As
No, they were
far as
good. No,
all
they were
right,
good.
did a lot of people not pay?
It depends because it really depends. I wouldn't say a lot of people didn't pay because you got the opportunity to make the money.
Yeah,
So it wasn't like, you know what I mean? So, and then why would you mess up a good thing? Of course, you're going to have people that I wouldn't say they didn't pay because they ran off. They probably didn't pay because
they got locked up.
that or they messed up because
Yeah,
everybody don't know how to hustle.
yeah,
You
correct.
have
That's why I
people
was. That's
that get the money and then they want to spend it because they want to floss. And it's like,
yeah,
no,
yeah.
yeah.
Because
You know,
not me, not me. I knew people,
Long
and
time
I talked to people, but the reality of it is, like, some people used to say the consignment deal was bad because you hit a guy with a brick of coke, and he can't move that coke, or he's taking too long, or he gets knocked for that coke, which is arrested. Then the
Well,
bottom line is he can't pay that money back.
in that instance, yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I
Yeah.
used to say
Right.
consignment deals are risky. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
you
But
know,
Absolutely.
I wanted to ask a question, and I saw the comment on the screen that someone posed about the impact it had on the community. I also wanted to know. I noticed there seemed to be a marriage at one point between hip hop and the drug game, and it one I think helped accelerate the other one. So I'm assuming that there's a lot of people that just perpetuated it in music in
Hmm.
the two communities. Could you give us a little bit about when you saw that happen, either the danger of it, or I guess maybe with transparency to see how some people were maybe influencing other people to be in it and they weren't in it themselves. And I just know because not every, one of the people, one of my cousins who was really into drugs and stuff like that, he said if anybody ever got on a record telling the stuff that they actually did, that would
Right.
be the dumbest thing in the world. And he said the people that really was doing that, they weren't about that. So
Right.
if you kind of delineate between the two worlds.
Back then, I think we found out later how much the street game influenced hip hop. I
yeah.
don't think when it was happening, we
Mhm.
knew, or whoever was, the influencer actually knew. Later on, you can kind of see how it did influence the game in many ways. So I think once it was happening, or when things was going on, I don't think at the time, people was in the street or dealers was in the street saying, yeah, I'm influencing these rappers to do this and that. I think we found that out or saw it after the fact, because then you start hearing names and records and them, referencing clothing and names of killers and drug dealers and things like that. So at the time, I don't think they even had a clue about what they was doing and the influence that they had. And they had a large impact on it. I don't think they even realized that.
It seems as though it fed into to one another. The rap, originally was just kind of reflected what was happening, and then
Mm-hmm.
eventually, that kind of fed into, actually doing it, for
Right.
the later generations, So
Right. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So one of the things, like, part of the game is, like, the violence part, right? So, and I know,
Mhm.
and the violence at one time came to your door, basically, like yourself. So are you at liberty to speak about that, or are you comfortable talking about that? Or
Yeah. I'm comfortable because I made it.
yeah, that's very
I
that's
made it. My
true.
God, it's awesome. But yeah, I was 6 months pregnant. Well, my fiance got locked up, and so I had to take over what he was doing. And also, Fritz was gonna give me a portion of whatever money he was doing, just to, put away for Ace or whatever. And I was like 21 years old, 6 months pregnant. And my brother-in-law came to the door. He came to get something, came to the house because I was doing business. I had like 2 apartments, but I stayed at my mom's while I was pregnant because I was sick a lot. And then one thing about me, I've always shared. I had 2 apartments, fully furnished, paying the rent, and I was allowing other people to stay in my apartments. That was just me. And my brother-in-law came and then left. 5 minutes later, I mean, no more than 5 minutes, I got a knock on the door, and 3 masked gunmen rushed in because there was a female with them who actually said my name. So I thought it was my sister. Instead of saying, who or whatever, I just opened up the door. And 3 masked gunmen pushed in and said, "Where's the safe?" As soon as they said that, I already knew I had been set up because it wasn't too many people who came in and knew I had a safe because Fritz actually told me to buy it. Mm-hmm. So I knew it was him. And, I had to, I was young. And to be honest with you, I wasn't even scared. I just couldn't. I think I was more in shock because I couldn't believe that these people are in my home. They got guns to my head. So I'm doing this to make sure they don't go off because I don't know if these are amateurs or what, And they said, take them to the safe. And I did. But I didn't open it immediately. I mean, I don't know. At that age, I mean, I was, back then, a lot of us were so much more mature than the 21-year-olds of today, So I was thinking on my feet at the same time while I'm playing with the safe, acting like I'm nervous. I'm just thinking, and one guy was like, "I'm a killer." Then I said, "I'm not opening up nothing because you can't carry this. There's no way they would have got that out." It was hard to even push it you literally got to get on all fours and all your knees and literally push it. That safe is in my mother's house to the day. It's empty. So in case anybody try to come back, it's empty.
Put that out there.
Right.
She's a working lady.
And I covered it for years because I couldn't even look at it. But I was like, I'm not going to open it because he's talking crazy. I'm talking to the other 2 who seems a little more level-headed, So, at that time, I just had to play the cards that I was dealt. And I was like, listen, y'all could take everything here. There's jewelry right there. Just don't hurt me and my baby. They did that. The itchy one still was like, get on the bed, put the pillow on your head. And I was not doing that. I was like, I'm not doing that. So, yeah, and that's a part of the game that, people, looking from the outside, it looks glamorous. But these are the type of things that was going on, behind the scenes. And these are the type of things that we had to go through. And it's a consequence because what we was doing was wrong at the end of the day, and that's a consequence.
And that's a good message to a lot of young girls. I work with young kids. A lot of girls get these charges. And they don't understand. They don't understand it's part of the game.
Right.
That it's some violence. The good times can happen, but there's a lot of bad times.
Yeah.
Serious lot of bad times are coming. Sorry, go ahead.
It's a lot of bad times. And today, the money is not even worth the risk.
The time.
Right.
They're not money like it was.
Yeah, those days are long gone. You'll never see that type of money again. Technology has stopped that. The surveillance and everything. You're never going to see it again. Mm-hmm. But I wanted to ask you this. Your era was Alpo, Rich Porter, AZ.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Childs.
They was right up the block from us.
Okay.
Yeah.
I grew up in Queens, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when the situation happened with Rich Porter, what was being said in Harlem about who was responsible for it? Because the thing is, we heard in Queens who might be responsible for it. So did Harlem know who was responsible for it?
No, it was more of a shock.
Mm-hmm.
It was a big shock. Darnell.
Let me just, I hate to interrupt you, Ms. T, but I just want to bring the viewers up to speed. Rich Porter was a drug dealer. He was murdered by another drug dealer, and he was a well-known drug dealer. Mm-hmm. And, basically urban legend type of drug dealer. And basically someone close to him murdered him. So,
yeah, and the movie Paid in Full is based
on Rich Porter and Alpo and AZ. Yeah. Well, go ahead, Miss T. I'm sorry for interrupting.
No. it was definitely a shock because that was a baby,
Yeah.
12 years old. When we heard that he was kidnapped,
Mhm.
and then
That's
eventually,
for people who don't know.
That's
That's the
his
nephew.
brother, little brother. No,
yeah,
Yeah,
the
I mean
little,
brother. I mean brother. I'm sorry, brother.
yeah,
little brother was kidnapped. Yeah.
yeah, the little brother was kidnapped. So it was a shock because everybody is wondering what happened to this little boy. And then eventually, well, before they even found the little brother, this is when Richard was found.
Mhm.
Rich Porter's body was found even before they found the little brother.
Right.
So then that's probably when the speculation went on about who did it.
Yeah.
And of
Okay.
course they thought Alpo did it.
Yeah.
So they probably figured he killed both of them. But it was I said, wow, like in my book, I have a chapter called Paid in Full. I said a smart person would have taken that opportunity to do that to Rich so that the police and whomever can think that they were connected, but they were not connected in no way, shape, or form. It's
Correct.
just that opportunity just presented itself, and it was just such a coincidence and a very sad moment, you know. And I try to tell people, I go back and forth with people. At the end of the day, you know, I knew Rich, AZ. I didn't know Poe back then, but of course we knew of him, and I was actually in his presence back then. But I wasn't a Rich, AZ, or Alpo groupie, you know. But the thing is that we have to understand that it's the game. Things happen. Now, I was a little mad that Alpo took that opportunity, knowing that a family was going through a kidnapping of a child.
Correct.
Like, why would you give the family a double blow like that? So I did have that feeling of, wow, you know, how could you do that and be so insensitive to that? But you have to also think that the game ain't fair to nobody.
Nobody.
The streets have never been fair. The streets don't love nobody.
But
You know,
the actual kidnapping was
their
Rich's Porter's uncle.
their blood uncle, his
Yes, he
mother's
kidnapped
brother.
the kid. Yeah, right.
Yes,
Okay.
him and the preacher crew. Now,
Wow.
Preacher was a very dangerous man from uptown, and he had a crew with him that was just as dangerous, crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I tell you, you know, like, you know, money, man, money will make people do some crazy things.
Correct. Especially when it's a lot of money involved and
Right.
and they don't have no money.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. And that's the message like I want to keep on telling to the young people to
Yeah.
understand. Like your best friend will line you up.
Correct.
All day.
Correct.
I just came from federal prison with one of my not federal prison, sorry, federal court with my friends on Thursday, and the people that was in business with him, whatever, or associated with him, all lined him up. They all came. They all home, and he's going away.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He's getting 8 years, and everybody else is going home. You know what I'm saying? So the people don't understand that you got the law enforcement part of it, you got the murder part of it, you got the robbery part of it, and I just want to make sure young people, if you see this, when they see this, that they understand these are all the elements.
Right.
As a part of if it's credit card scams to drug dealing to whatever it is, these are all the elements you young people have to be aware of that's going on in these streets when you get part of this dirty game. Yeah.
Right.
And I want to add something
all the way through, no matter what. You can't trust nobody.
Correct.
Yeah, true. I want to add something too that everybody on the show. I don't know if you know Miss T. I used to be a police officer. I worked for the police department for 22 years, and I'm telling you, I've seen it from both sides, from the street side all the way to the law enforcement side, and you would be shocked at who is snitching, who's telling.
I really wouldn't, because I'm real close. I mean, I get what you're saying, because I'm cool, thank God. I'm cool with some law enforcement, and it's amazing how I've been told how some of them, like dudes in the street, got them on speed dial to let them know
Correct.
who's doing what.
Okay,
let Ronnie tell you something real quick.
I used to work for a unit. I used to work for a unit, Miss T, that we had a separate cell phones for informants. And let me explain something else. You'll be very shocked that some of the guys that's in the streets that we consider being bouted, or that guy is a paid informant.
Yeah,
is a paid informant. So my advice to young people out there that think that the streets are legit and your day one is going to hold you down or whatever, Dudes ain't doing football numbers no more. Guys can't
No,
FaceTime like that no
No.
more. So I'm
no.
telling you, they're telling. Now, I do remember being a teenager in the 80s, and I would say guys were more of a stand-up guys back then. And guys would
Mhm.
take their time and do the bid. But once
Right.
guys started getting 30, 40, 35 years, or whatever, then you started to see the game. But do you notice now how the culture has changed from the time you were in the game to,
Oh yeah.
not saying you're in the game now, but do
Right, right,
you
right.
see the culture today? You know
Oh
what I'm
yeah.
saying?
Yeah,
It
because
was
like I said, I have law enforcement that tell me, and everybody and their mom out here telling.
everybody's telling.
So this is
Everybody's
why
telling.
I had an OG come to me, and he was like, "Yo, Miss T, I need you to write this book on snitching, getting at snitches." That was the initial idea. But then when I started asking questions, doing my little research, I'm like, it's too many snitches out here.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to get at snitches because what I realized, that's why I said the name is called Snitching. The streets are fair game, but the game has never been fair. So what I give in here is scenarios, real scenarios. I even have a story of here of my own, of how the game goes down and how snitching really goes down. Snitching is a business.
Yes, it is. Yes,
It's
it
a
is.
business between a government and the informant. Some snitches get more money from the government than they ever made on the street. They get taken care of, rent paid, a car. You get 18 months to the
That's
work.
mostly the feds. The feds will pay
Right.
your life. Yeah.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right.
Hey, some state police I know too got some people on
Yeah,
payroll.
but I'm just saying it's a business at the end of the day. And then again, you have some people that's just not built like that. You think and I say in the book, nobody really knows what they're built for until that situation happens.
Correct.
Plain and simple. You know what I'm saying? You might, like he said, like Rodney said, you might have these dudes out here you thinking they about it, and they done beat this so much until the time comes, they not ready to do that time. It was never in them. They've been fronting the whole time.
Never was in them.
You got some dudes like, I'm gonna take 30, I'm gonna take 25 and go ahead about my business as long as they ain't giving me the death penalty. I'm good.
Yeah.
But a lot of dudes in these streets are not built like that. And that's why I also have a chapter in Harlem Heroin called Street Image. Because like I said, nothing in that this book is not glorifying anything. I have messages all through the book because at the end of the day, we have to ask ourselves, is it all worth it? It's a chapter called Street Images, and it's for dudes who either want to act tough, want to do this or do that. It's always somebody that's going to be willing to test you.
Yep.
Don't be anything other than who you are for the streets. Because again, the streets don't love you.
Nobody. They don't love nobody.
You know what? You just touched on a question that I wanted to ask. And I always wondered this when there came a time when we watched like New Jack City and we used to see shows like The Wire. When the people wanted to be in charge and they wanted to ascend to power, what, in your estimation, is the end game? What does success look like for a drug dealer?
Success is for a drug dealer would be staying alive and not being in prison. That's it.
So you stack all the money and all that stuff like that, and at the end of it, you hope to walk away and just like, I beat the system. I always wondered. I'm saying, when you get there, where does it take you? For instance, I look at Harlem and I see there's a lot of people that don't look like us who own Harlem now, and everybody had all these millions of dollars.
Absolutely.
And didn't buy these buildings and buy these brownstones and still don't have anything. And I'm like, what, as you said a minute ago, was it worth?
Right. Because it would have been worth it if we were smart enough. Now, some people were, not many. I probably could count on one hand, who somebody was able to put that bug in their ear and say, listen, buy this store, buy this property. Like, had Fritz lived, I would have done that. But he wasn't here to school me, and Ace was gone. Because, like I told you, I had a meeting with somebody today, and we could have owned Harlem. I mean, we could have bought that Black Wall Street back years ago. You know what I'm saying? Because it was so much money here. But when you're not educated on business and you're not business savvy, and also not even that, at that time, the money was coming so crazy. You didn't have time to stop and think and do anything.
It was intoxicating.
It was just laser focused on selling that product, getting that money, putting it up somewhere, but mostly spending it. because it wasn't too much of putting it up. And yeah, that's the sad part about the game and what happened. Is like, was it worth it? Because a lot of people came out of it with absolutely nothing. You know, families, nothing. You know, even to the point of, you know, family members getting caught up in the game and either going to jail or getting killed, and they had absolutely nothing to do with it. So like the end game, like again, you know, I think I don't complain about nothing. I'm so happy to be alive. Y'all have no idea. Like my life's so simple. I don't require much, you know, because I know what it. I could have been in the ground right now. I know. I mean, I had two major things that happened: me getting robbed, which I could have got killed, and then me getting shot. And then, you know, I traveled to Baltimore. Man, listen, Baltimore back in the day, 93, 94 was crazy. I've never seen anything like it. I've been to Greensboro, North Carolina. Like, I've been certain places where it's like, I know there are times that danger was probably lurking behind a corner and God saved me. And I still don't even know, you know, to this day what it was, but I'm happy that I'm still here. You know, I'm just happy that I'm able to tell my story and people understand it. And it makes me feel so good. And I, you know, the gratification of when men, because that's all I care about is my Black men just doing better. When I have men hitting me up on YouTube or Instagram saying, yo, Miss T, salute, Queen. I'm glad you made it out. Thank you for your story. I had one guy from Baltimore say, Miss T, I just bought a 3-bedroom house. Things are getting kind of hard. But when I see your story and I go back to it, it humbles me. So I'm just going to work and keep on doing what I got to do. That's what makes me happy.
Yeah. Hey, Ms. T, let me ask you a question. Someone asked the question. I just want to point out, Kiara, she wants to know, you know, what do you feel about shows like Power? Do you feel it's realistic? What about the realism of a show like Power? What do you think of it?
It could happen. I mean, you know, I think because there are some people that I know that did the streets and had a club and really made it. Like, I mean, I know drug dealers from back then that had accountants because they had so much money. Like, I dealt with a guy who used to say, yo, T, you want to go shopping? Because the accountant said, I'm not spending enough money. Like, they had legitimate business set up to cover what they was doing. So it could be real, but I like to tell people for entertainment purposes, that's what you have to embellish when it comes to TV.
Correct.
We go back to paid in full because I go back and forth with people about this whole paid in full thing. And I say, listen, it's entertainment. Everything that happened in that movie did not happen in real life, you know, but people take that movie to heart. It's incredible how, you know, TV really does influence people that are grown and of age, and they take it to heart because they fell so in love with Mitch that they feel like Mitch could do no wrong and has never did any wrong, and that's just absolutely not true.
Correct.
Could you ever be at peace when you know, let's go back before the robbery, and you have, I'm assuming, you know, the money may be flowing and unlimited, but a regular day, is it every day you're literally in fear for your life, or you're just concerned, or you don't trust, or how's a normal day go?
No, I was. It's not a everyday thing where I wake up and I'm nervous and I'm scared. No, that wasn't it, and I don't think that's the case for anybody. But you are aware, so it's a difference. I wasn't in fear, but I'm always aware of what's going on. I've always been one to kind of see, you know, just analyze who's around me and what's going on around me. Because again, you can't trust people all the time, and I've been like that, you know, since a young girl. But yeah, I mean, you can't. I mean, when you're in a game like that, you can't be nervous because you got to be thinking on your feet.
Yeah.
You know, when it comes to certain things.
Wow. What do you think of the changes that are going on in the neighborhood now? You know, these days.
Gentrification. I mean,
Anything. Anything. What are the changes that you see in the neighborhood?
I mean, what I don't like today is the gun violence. It seems so senseless to me. I can't, like the baby that got the 1-year-old earlier this year, I think got killed in Brooklyn. I don't understand it. It's just, it seems like once they opened up, I don't know what was going on with these, you know, with this generation, and you just out there blazing, not hitting your intended target, Like, I don't get it. What's the purpose? Like, it's not about no money. What is it about? That is something that boils my blood. Like, I honestly think education has always, from even back then, has always been the reason for us having to be in the street. Some of us. You know what I'm saying? As far as a lot of Black men, education, I think education is the key to success, and just knowledge is power. If you know what to do and how to do it, and somebody teach you something, you can go out there and try to figure it out and get it. I think that is a big part of our problems out here in the streets. Illiteracy is a big problem. I have a big problem with that too. Men not being able to read, and it's okay. I did a video on that. You bringing children into this world and you can't teach them anything because you're illiterate. I have a problem with that.
It
takes nothing. It takes absolutely nothing to ask for help. And I gave my email out secretly. They can contact me. I don't care what state they in. I'll try to find them a program. Most libraries have GED programs, but we got to educate ourselves to do better. And without that, some of us are just going to be stuck.
Yeah, and I think also, like, with certain things I know is the code. Like, there's no code with the shooting going on.
Yeah.
I think also with the hustlers of the late 80s, early 90s, also the music was different. Now the music is all about violent, blowing brother head, shoot a whatever. I don't want to say the N-word on here and everything. Like, that kind of changed it, and everybody's trying to live that lifestyle. So it's like, it's just kind of crazy. Like,
live a lifestyle that they're not built for.
Correct. So,
correct.
Real quick, I don't know if we have to wrap up right now, but Miss T, how'd you get that name? What's in the street? Who gave you that name, Miss T?
Okay, in the 90s, I met some guys from Queens, and they was like, "Yo, shorty, what you do?" Because I had the fur, the jewels on, looking
the
cute.
white one, the white fur on.
Yep. So they was like, "What you do?" And one of them was like, "Yo, this Lady Heroine," and I swear. The name of the book was going to be Lady Heroin, but once my editor read through it and he was like, "Nah, T, we got to put Harlem Heroin." So I give all the credit to D and them. Absolutely. And I'm writing Harlem Heroin too, and I write that story. That story is in there because people don't know.
Hey, when I wasn't hustling when I met her. That was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago.
long time ago.
Yeah.
So listen, I want to know people can find you. Put the books up again. Where they can find you at? Your Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, all that stuff like that. Tell people where they can find you at.
Instagram is Harlem Heroin, at Harlem_Heroin on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Also, I'll be on a special. I'm not sure when it's coming on, but I'll let you guys know. It's called Crack. It'll be on Netflix. It's me, Charles Rangel, and maybe 2 other people. And we're just discussing the crack era of the 80s and 90s and where we were wrong. And I definitely take ownership, and I hold myself accountable for contributing to that time, because at the time it was wrong. Selling drugs is wrong. You know what I'm saying? Murdering people is wrong. But I talk about it, and I just hope that we can do better. And this is another thing. It's amazing how much the streets will influence a person, because I went out there. I was in a 2-family household, strict Jamaican father, big on education. My mother cooked 7 days a week, so I wanted for nothing. But that greed is dangerous. That greed is dangerous. It will get you in trouble. Yeah.
Listen, Miss T, we truly, truly appreciate you, Queen. So happy to have you on here. Anything you ever knew, you just call me. I'm going to show up for that joint. Love you.
Thank you. I appreciate y'all.
Keep teaching the kids, and any of them older brothers that that's in New York and they need help. I ran GD programs for over
yes.
years.
And
so
I hit me up. Jails, schools, or whatever, because at the end of the day, if I could help somebody, I believe that God kept me here for a reason. So I have to do my part.
That's right.
I have to tell my story, So
Yep. I appreciate you, sister. Have a good night. Be safe.
Bye, Miss T.
And I love you, girl.
To you.
Thanks, guys.